Hey there, Aquarius. Welcome to your reading for mid-March 2026. We are going to jump right in here. You have this card that says the end of a tough cycle approaches. You have this other card that says nothing is yet set in stone. So love it, Aquarius. Definitely could be ending some sort of tough cycle that you've been through. A lot of people have had cards of like ending a cycle. You actually have the best one, that end of a tough cycle approaches, but we have the end of the retrograde coming up on the 20th, and I think it's interesting that the retrograde is in Pisces, where we have had Neptune in Pisces for a very long time. Obviously now it's in Aries, but it's always interesting to me how the astrology lines up. It's like we deal with a transit for a long ass time, with Neptune being in Pisces, and then we close the transit basically with a retrograde. It's like reminding us of everything we went through and what we learned and all that other good stuff, and now we can finally move past it, is kind of how I take it. So, a lot of you could finally be ending these, ending that Neptune and Pisces energy in your life, which is probably good for you, Aquarius, and we'll see what comes up. You have the Seven of Pentacles, the Temperance card, and the Knight of Pentacles. I feel like you need to set something in stone. Knight of Pentacles, he has those empty fields behind him where he has to plant seeds. Seven of Pentacles is my card that says, is the juice worth the squeeze, Aquarius? He's looking at what he has grown in his life so far, and he's trying to decide if it's worth it or not. Seven of Pentacles is really about where you invest, like where you invest your time, your effort, your energy, your attention, your money, everything. And I think a lot of you are kind of like looking at things and where you put your energies, all of them, and you're deciding like, okay, some of these things are worth it and some of them aren't, and I'm going to just, focus on the things that are more worth it, which is exactly what I would do with the Seven of Pentacles. The other interesting thing that's popping into my head is that you're like ready for a change here. We go down to the Nine of Swords to the Four of Wands. The Nine of Swords can be like a never-ending nightmare, but the Four of Wands is a card of setting yourself free, which we'll talk about in a minute. And then you have the Chariot, who is also setting himself free, which we'll also talk about in a minute. So the Seven of Pentacles can be a change in direction where you are deciding, like what direction you want your life to move in. And so I think a lot of you are changing something that has been repeating for a long time. Something, before I forget, I was actually going to save this for the Nine of Swords, but I'll probably forget. And so what I've been telling people, in this set of readings is I think it would be a good time before the 20th to kind of like pick something that you want to completely bury in the past. And it could be anything, right? It could be a bad habit, could be something that takes too much time, could be an obligation you don't want anymore, could be anything. But I would like pick one thing and like tell the universe, like, universe, I'm completely letting this thing go because I feel like we should do that. You have the Temperance card. Temperance is patient, but I feel like you're done being patient, Aquarius, just in general. So I feel pretty good about this because he needs to change direction. Right now, he is just trying to turn water into wine. But I always say, I don't always feel this, but sometimes I feel like the card is basically saying he could easily step off on this path, and this is the path to glory, and it has this glowing crown in the background, and he could easily go claim his crown, but he's standing here and he's trying to make something perfect before he goes and claims his crown. And so, but I feel like you're done being patient here, Aquarius. You have the Emperor in your next row right here, so it's kind of like you're ready to claim something, or you are ready to charge towards something, even with the Chariot, which is good. You have the Knight of Pentacles. Again, I feel pretty good about this Knight of Pentacles in your reading. Again, I go back and forth on the Knight of Pentacles. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. In your reading, I do, because you end with the Chariot, really, and the Four of Wands. So both of those cards are kind of like crossing a finish line with the Four of Wands. Chariot is like finally moving past the past, which we'll talk about, like I said. And so I feel a lot of you are finally making progress with the Knight of Pentacles, or finally moving forward towards something, or past something. Like, really, again, I think you're moving past that Nine of Swords. Nine of Swords is a never-ending nightmare, and it's usually something that we need to let go of. And then you have the Five of Swords, which in this situation could be good, because the Five of Swords could be saying you're finally moving past the Nine of Swords. With the Seven of Pentacles, you have the Two of Cups. A lot of love, which I'm not surprised about. There's a lot of things going on right now that I think make it a good time for a connection. The Seven of Pentacles would kind of say that you are maybe thinking about investing in a connection. I don't think you've made up your mind yet, but you definitely could be thinking about it or saying to yourself, like, maybe I do want to make a connection. I think I think you're just thinking about it, Aquarius. With the Temperance card, here you go. You have the Ace of Cups. So, again, could be a love offer or thinking about making a love offer. If I'm being honest, well, there's no rush. Mercury retrograde till the 20th, there's no rush. Even this entire month, there's no rush. So, I kind of still feel like you're thinking about it. But there could be love coming in the future. The Ace of Cups also wants you to do more of what causes you to overflow. That could be, habits, hobbies, fun things. And I feel this whole entire year we have to do that, especially you air signs, because again, like I said to you probably in your last reading, Uranus and Gemini in April. And Uranus and Gemini is like sticking your tongue into an outlet on the wall. It's like electricity. It is, your ruling planet is Uranus, which is electricity. And then in Gemini, Gemini is a little bit electric. So even though we don't consider Gemini electricity, it is a little bit electric. And, I feel that it's going to be like, a surge of energy. And so you're going to need something like some sort of habit or daily routine or something that recharges your batteries. And because you're probably going to be doing a lot. And I think the Ace of Cups is one of the best types of activities we could do. The Ace of Cups is something that fulfills you. It's something that you can do endlessly. That doesn't mean you do it endlessly. It just means you could. And so I feel if you don't have something that fulfills you, you need to find it. With the Knight of Pentacles, you have the the Moon. The Moon is about not knowing the future for you. I think I said something similar in one of your recent readings. It seems to me like you want to know the future, but you can't. It's kind of like what the readings have been saying for you, Aquarius. I feel it's like you want to know that something is going to work before it does, or, you want to know the outcome before you get there. And I feel like the universe is saying, well, no, that's not how it works. So you have to, keep working at it, whatever it is that you're working towards, or whatever it is you're trying to create in your life. And eventually you'll get there, but you're not going to know the future. And so it's almost like it's saying, like, stop checking, It's kind of like, how they say a watch pot never boils? It's like if you keep checking the pot, it's never going to boil. And, I feel like this is saying just do the work and be surprised by when the victory comes. Next, in the area of messages, what's coming in for you, you have this Echidna card. It says homebody, distinctiveness, and danger sense. You have this Mantis shrimp. It says combat, vision, vibrational sensitivity. Yes, definitely very sensitive to the vibrations this year. You, Aquarius. I think I said to you in your 2026 reading that, again, if something doesn't feel right, don't do it. And so I would really be paying attention to those feelings. Again, our intuition has changed because Neptune went into Aries. And Neptune in Aries is like that first split-second gut instinct, how you feel about a situation before you even do it, but like that immediate feeling, right? And so I definitely feel it's a time where we should really be paying attention to what is going on. I said, you can go back to Devin Dewar's channel. I said on the very first live I did with her, I don't remember when it was, but I said to her, I'm not getting on any planes. I'm not going to be in large groups of people for a while. I'll say that. And, I think I've kind of been proven right at this time. Literally, the day I said that to her is when that helicopter crashed into that plane last year, if you remember that. So, again, if something feels off, I would definitely recommend trusting it. You have the Emperor, the Nine of Swords, and the Five of Wands. The Emperor is about taking control of your situation. A lot of Emperor energy I've noticed in this set of readings. Like pretty much almost everyone has had the Emperor. Again, I think this is one of those retrogrades where we're really going to feel the end of the retrograde on the 20th. We also have a really good moon in Pisces on the 18th. So, it's like I think the combination between the two things is kind of setting us up for either feeling motivated or feeling more driven after the 20th, somewhere around there. And I would take advantage of the energy for sure. Again, especially, if you can give yourself a little bit of a head start into April, you're going to have a better time. Although, again, I think Uranus and Gemini is pretty good for you air signs in general. I think Uranus and Gemini is chaos. I've been saying this for like 3 years now, at least, that because I was saying it in 2023. And yes, before someone corrects me, this reading that I'm doing right now is in 2026. I am talking about 2023. But until 2033, so that's 2033, that's 2 3s for those of you that can't hear, until that time of chaos with Uranus and Gemini. So we need to pay attention I think we need to focus on what is right in front of us, what we can do with what we got right now, and that is the type of energy we need to embrace with the Emperor. You have the Nine of Swords. Nine of Swords is a never-ending nightmare. Again, almost everyone has had the Nine of Swords as well. So the Nine of Swords, I think, wants people to like pick at least one thing to completely bury in the past. And you have the Devil right next to it. So for you, it could be a bad habit or something that steals your energy. I look at the Devil as an energy vampire. It doesn't have to be a person. It could be anything that sucks your energy dry, right? And I feel it would be a great time to like draw that boundary. You end with the Nine of Wands. And so it would be a great time to say like, okay, universe, I'm completely going to let this thing go and never revisit it, whatever it is. And if you do that, I think you'll have a great time. The reason I've been getting this message, I feel, is because like I feel like we can. I feel like if we do that, we'll actually stick to it. Like maybe you have a hard time like I do sticking to things sometimes, right? I feel that if you do it now, during this energy, you actually will. So, if you want to get rid of something that is like Groundhog's Day, that just is repeating over and over and over again, I would do that. You have the Five of Wands. Again, it's kind of weird because we're in a time of co-creation because of Pluto and Aquarius, but as I always say, that doesn't mean competition is going anywhere. Of course, we will still experience competition, and competition isn't always a bad thing, of course. Some people do competitions for fun, but what I would say is I think we have an amazing opportunity to study the competition and to stand out above the competition. I'm going to keep saying this. People always say, you always say that thing about competition. Yes, you better believe it. And I'm going to keep saying it because I need to hear it as well. But what I would say is with Neptune and Aries, everybody's going to be doing the same thing. So, it's my belief that it's very easy to stand out above the competition right now. If you just study what everybody else is doing, they're all just going to copy each other. And if you just do something slightly different, you will stand out and you will get credit, and you can do this to, grow your business, to find love, to have whatever you want. But you just have to do a little bit of studying on what everybody else is doing and then fill in the gap. With the Emperor, you have two cards here, the Strength card and the Knight of Pentacles. Yeah, I feel like you're finally ready to move forward here, Aquarius, with the Knight of Pentacles. The Strength card, it's an amazing time to work on that inner voice. The Strength card, that lion, is her inner critic, and she is the one that's in control of her inner critic. And again, I think we have a lot of that energy right now that could have us questioning ourselves. So that's the part that we need to take control of, is like the questions, the questioning things, the thinking you have to know the future and all that. And if you do that, you'll probably, be successful. With the Nine of Swords, you have the Three of Wands. Three of Wands is expansion. We finally have Jupiter moving forward in Cancer on March 10th. And so I'm recording this on the 14th. So it's been direct for about 4 days now, which is great. I think Jupiter retrograde in Cancer is like the worst retrograde for Jupiter. It's like it slows things down the most. So again, I think we're in a good time for things to start speeding up, start expanding, start growing. So anything you want to grow, I would be like studying it and thinking about how you can change it with the Nine of Swords. Nine of Swords says maybe you're stuck in a routine, or you're stuck in doing things the same. So if you're not getting a raise at work, it's like, what can you change to get a raise? Or if things have been the same too long in any area of your life, what can you change to expand it and make it better? With the Five of Wands, you have the Three of Swords. I would be careful of X's at this time. Again, you're not the only person to get something like this. Even in just the March monthly readings I did, I saw this a lot. Like Three of Swords, Five of Wands to the Devil. This kind of reminds me of energy of like, an ex coming in and like just trying to piss you off or trying to ruin your day or whatever. And again, this retrograde is one of the first ones in a while, actually, where I feel like it is one of those ones that could bring an ex back. So again, I am the only reader that basically says don't go back to the past, right? And so I would put up boundaries. I would make sure that you're not getting dragged into like someone who's trying to rage bait you or something like that, right? Next, in the area messages from your future self, it says, what is tempting you at this moment may not be a wise choice. Devil, you have this web of creation. It says, be aware of what you're weaving in your life to create better experiences. Yes. Spiders are all about the story we tell. So again, with the Strength card, I would be watching your words. My other thing about the spider energy is spiders are about having a process, and we are in an amazing time to come up with some sort of process for what we are doing, like some sort of daily routine. Or if you have a business, it's like, can you break it down into steps? Can you say, I take these 3 steps every single day to, grow or to make it successful or whatever the case may be. Having something like that is going to make, instead of just doing things whenever, is going to make things a lot more, a lot more efficient, a lot more successful. We have Saturn in Aries, which Aries is the first house, just in general. It's not your first house. I'm saying it's the first house, right? And so I feel that with Saturn in Aries, it really wants us to work on something long-term, something that could last forever, something that we start and finish, which is really important with Aries energy, but also have a process behind it. And so I feel like that card is basically saying that. You have the 5 of Swords, the Devil, and the 4 Wands. The 5 of Swords can represent winning at all costs, walking away from something, cutting something out. Again, I would be careful of anyone from the past. You have that temptation card. It says what is tempting you at this moment may not be a wise choice, so it might be a good time to say no. Again, I think, if there's like one piece of advice I would have for all signs as well, I actually haven't said this to anyone yet, is don't follow the crowd. Especially with Neptune and Aries, it's like everybody's going to be doing like the same thing, or trying to group up, and that doesn't mean you can't believe whatever a group believes or anything like that. It just means that you need to have your own mind, and so don't be afraid of like walking away. He's walking away from these 2 people, and maybe he's disagreeing with people, or maybe he just doesn't see his life a certain way. And again, he has to stick up for himself, and I kind of get that energy for you here, Aquarius. You have the Devil, so I would definitely be careful of any temptations this week. If you know something isn't good for you, I would completely avoid it at all cost with that temptation card. It's like the only warning that you really have here, Aquarius, but, I would definitely be careful, especially if it's going to steal your time. Again, the Devil is an energy vampire. He steals time. He steals your life force, your energy. So I would be careful of, anything that could potentially steal your time. Aquarius, by the way, make sure to leave a comment. Really helps me out. You have the 4 Wands. 4 Wands can be marriage, of course. There's a little bit of love here if you want it. The 4 Wands is also about completion. Now, again, I see the 4 Wands a lot at the end of retrogrades because we are completing the retrograde period, so it kind of makes sense. These people are celebrating on the other side, so a lot of you could be just celebrating the end of the retrograde. The 4 Wands comes up also if we are like completing a project or something we've been working on. And so if you are completing anything, like finishing a project or something you've created, it could be a good time for like celebrating whatever that is. With the 5 of Swords, you have the Emperor again. So the Emperor is about taking control of your situation here. It could be you taking the lead as well, which is another theme that has been coming up for you a lot, Aquarius. I think I've said to you in many of your past readings that, it would be a good time for you to take the lead in your own life and kind of like guide your own decisions and not allow other people to guide them for you. And I feel that's kind of like the theme here. With the Devil, you have the 9 of Cups. Again, this person they are fulfilling themselves, right? They are on this card alone. And so I feel focusing on your own fulfillment and focusing on fulfilling yourself without the need for other people or other situations, will bring you true fulfillment. And, really that's what I would focus on with the 9 of Cups energy. It's like 9s are independent cards. Like 9 of Pentacles is a card of independence. So, in a lot of ways, it might be a good week for you to like really double down on focusing on yourself, on nurturing yourself, all that other good stuff. With the 4 Wands, you have the Page of Wands. Yeah, you are definitely like separating away from something. It's like, I feel like you're about to go your own way, really, is what the reading is saying. It's like you're about to, forge your own path, or, you're forging your own destiny even with these cards. He is going on an adventure. And the only thing that's guiding him is his enthusiasm. He's just excited. If you told people, like, I'm going to do something, I'm going to go start this business, and if they said, you don't have any business experience, why are you doing that? And if you said, because I'm excited, they would think you're crazy, right? But that's what he does. He trusts his feelings more than anything. And again, I don't know how many stories people have to hear, but it's like there are so many stories of successful people, not just in business, but in everything, where it's like they just kind of followed their enthusiasm, and guess what? It worked. So is it really crazy, or are the people who judge it crazy? I would say it's the people who judge it that are crazy, right? And I feel this is saying you need to like follow your own bliss. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this exchanging gifts card and this imagine card. Yeah, it could be a gift from the universe coming in for you. The imagine card, I love. There's like a girl. It's kind of hard to see, but there's a girl. She's pulling the moon down to earth. So a lot of you could be bringing something that you've been imagining, or you could be bringing a dream down to earth. You have the Nine of Wands, the Three of Swords, and the Chariot. The Nine of Wands is like the Wounded Warrior. He's putting up boundaries, and again, he's on his own. So a lot of you could be kind of like putting up boundaries and going down on your own journey, your own path to make your life better. And in some ways, I do feel this reading is kind of very general. I feel like it is talking about you just making general life improvements at this time. And maybe you feel like you're doing it alone, but at the same time, I think it's a good thing. You have the Three of Swords. Again, multiple people have had the Three of Swords like twice like you do in your reading. And, Mercury retrograde, we usually can forgive the past, or we could be healing something from the past. And, of course, that's what the Three of Swords wants us to do. It wants us to remove those swords from our heart. And we do that by forgiving the past, or forgiving something, or like forgiving a person or something we've been through. And, that's what you could be doing with the Three of Swords, is like forgiving the past. And, that's really all you have to do. Like I always say, you don't have to do this in person. You can just forgive a person in your heart and move forward and then be done. You have the Chariot. The Chariot is like charging towards a victory or charging towards a success. So he has this city behind him, and he's charging away from that city, and he has no clue where he's going. But he's going to get there because he is in alignment. He has these stars right here, these moons right here, represents as above, so below. These two sphinxes represent the mysteries of the universe, and so they are guiding him because he's in alignment. You have the Nine of Cups wants you to be in alignment. It wants you to be an energetic match for something so that you can attract it. With the Nine of Wands, you have the Seven of Cups. Yeah, again, still like the whole not knowing the future thing. It's coming up in the good stuff, so this could be good because it's basically saying you might have more options on your path now, or maybe you feel like you have more tools that you can use, or more, ideas on how you can be successful. But, I still feel a little bit of that like future fear thing, or I don't know that it's fear. I think it's just like, it's just not being able to know the outcome of something. But I like it's coming up in the good stuff as well, Aquarius. So, maybe that's a clue that you should do it, not a clue that you shouldn't do it, right? Like it's coming up in the good stuff. So if there's something you want and you're like, I don't know if I should do this because I'm not sure what the outcome is going to be. Maybe the universe is saying, well, you have to go find out. You have to go on the adventure. Page of Wands says life should be fun. Life should be full of experiences. And maybe it's time for you to have an experience where you don't know what's going to happen, because that's the fun part. With the Three of Swords, here you go. Nine of Pentacles, all about you. This reading's all about you, Aquarius. Very independent reading. Yeah, there's love here, there's people here, but I really feel your focus should be on yourself, as I've already said, I think that healing yourself, focusing on your heart, she focuses on gratitude, the Nine of Pentacles. That's why she gets, what she wants. She is a card of creating heaven on earth, and the way she does that is with her environment. Everything that is surrounding her, she makes sure that it aligns with her vision of heaven on earth. So it doesn't mean that you have heaven on earth. It says you need to create it. So again, if there are people or places or things that are draining you of your energy, getting rid of that so that you can have heaven on earth would be a good idea. With the Chariot, you have the Judgment card. Judgment can be like a wake-up call. Judgment, these people are rising up out of these coffins. Coffin is their old life. Outside the coffin is their new life. And so they're being called to step into a new life. And I kind of said that a second ago up here. I said it's almost like you're on this path to like a new life, or to a new reality or something like that. You have this woman, it says dealings or relationships with a woman. You have this cracked cup, it says dissatisfaction with life. So it could be you. You don't even have to be a woman. Sometimes I feel these people cards are just the person I'm reading for. I like this cracked cup card because I think dissatisfaction is one of the things that motivates us to be more successful. I created this channel because I was dissatisfied with my life before I created it. So it's like sometimes I think dissatisfaction is the thing that we need to feel to like get motivated. You have this Grapes card. It says time to go out and have fun. Page of Wands, right there. Not taking things too seriously, having more fun. Good idea. You have this elephant. It says a journey, either physical or mental, will leave you wiser at the end. Yes, you have the chariot, page of wands. Yeah, whatever this adventure is totally going to be worth it here, Aquarius. You have this flute. It says disappointment in a friend or a lover. Yeah, like, again, devil energy. I would avoid that, Aquarius, at all costs. Like anyone who's disappointing you, causing problems, issues, challenges, all that. You have this bread card. It says period of prosperity and abundance. Love it. Definitely could be entering into a time where you are going to be more abundant or you are attracting more abundance. So love to see it. But this looks pretty good, Aquarius. I like it. So thank you for being here. Make sure to like, leave a comment, and definitely enjoy your month.